What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. Today we're going to be talking about the Warden's Law hand cannon from this week's Nightfall. With that new Exodus Crash version, we got ourselves that beautiful heavy burst, that 2 rounds that just absolutely melt those enemies in the PvE realm, especially on something like in the gameplay right here with those lucky pants going through a GM, absolutely just annihilating those enemies. So we're going to cover god rolls for y'all for both PvP, PvE realm, starting us off with our origin traits first. So first off, we have the Stunning Recovery. Stunning a champion partially refills the magazine, triggers health regen and improved recovery for a short duration. Nice little thing for the PvE realm, mostly what I use on this weapon for sure. Second option, Vanguard's Vindication. Final blows grants us a little bit of health. About 10 health is restored every single defeat, so that's just why I like using Stunning Recovery a little bit more than Vanguard's Vindication, unless I'm going through something with that lower tier where I'm just wiping out enemies super fast. Now for our masterwork on this thing and for our mods, I put on an adept stability mod with the master road of reload for our PvE realm. Just felt the best for me, just because I felt like the reload is slow innately with this 2-round burst, and the stability kinda is hard to control with that double bounce on it, so that's why I threw on that as our adept mod. Now when we move on to our barrel, that's why I use small bore in this column, because this range and stability feels the best to keep that bounce down, plus it lets us compete at a little bit longer range, since this does lose some of its effectiveness at some of those longer range because of that double bounce. Makes it harder to hit that second bullet, so that's why I went with that small bore. Gives us a little in both categories. Now magazine, we got 2 options right here. We got the tactical mag. This is what I would go with as my god roll. We get 2 in the magazine, 10 to reload speed, 5 in stability, so touches on everything that we were missing out on from just the initial values of this weapon, so that's why I like tactical mag best. That second option is appended mag. You lose all the other buffs like the stability and reloading, but we get 2 more shots in the magazine, so totally up to you, but I like tactical definitely way more. Fourth column got a couple options for y'all. First off, we got 4th times the charm. Rapidly landing those precision hits returns to the magazine. This is personally what I like on mine the best, because we do get a good portion of that magazine back on those champions like ogres, where you can hit that crit spot. A little harder on some of those vex champions where they gotta hit the little belly section, but still a very good and what I would use as my god roll for 4th times the charm. Second option is Demolitionist right here. Kills with the weapon generate us grenade energy. Throwing our grenade also reloads this weapon, so that kind of takes the reload that we're missing out of play a little bit with this weapon, so this is what my second choice would be, and there's really nothing else in this column, so 4th times the charm is my number 1, with Demolition followed real close in the second position. Now 4th column got a couple more options than the third. We got the Vorpal weapon as our first choice right here. We get that damage increase against bosses, vehicles, guardians in their super. For us it's 20% on this weapon, so it's definitely juicy inside of the PvE realm. Definitely what I use for the most part, because our other ones give us about 15% instead, so this is what I would go with as my god roll, is Vorpal with that 4th times the charm. Second option is that Frenzy. This gives us against every single enemy, not just those bosses and stuff like that. We get that 15% damage increase, plus a little bit of handling and reload as well, so when we are out of combat, with it being a little bit of a good perk for, like I said, everything inside of the game instead of just like those bosses and stuff, but I like Vorpal I think a little bit more in my opinion. Now last but not least, we got Adrenaline Junkie, which pairs wonderfully with that Demolitionist. This weapon gains increased damage and handling from final blows with grenades or this weapon, so you can see it stacks that damage buff up to 33%. Very good damage, more than our other 2 for sure, but harder to get up to that 33%, but the combination of this with demo allows us to just keep using our grenade consistently, so I do really like this weapon in general. We got the Stasis version as well from the Pale Heart this season. I like this one a little bit better in my personal opinion, so I'm gonna give this thing, just because I do use it quite a bit, especially against those overload champions like we have this season instead of some of our other hand cannons, I'm gonna give it probably like a 4-6 out of 5. Absolutely, I love it inside of the PvE realm, especially takes it all the way up to a 5, if not higher, with the Lucky Pants build that I'm using in the gameplay and stuff with this GM. Now when we move on to PvP, definitely not as good in my personal opinion compared to our 120s for sure, even 140s, because like I said, that second bounce on it with the second shot definitely makes it a little hard to hit shots consistently, but when you do, you're absolutely melting people. So for masterwork, I went with range. For our adept mod, I went with that stability again, because both lacking in that category, especially in the PvP realm compared to our 120s, even our 140s sometimes. Now for us, again, went with small bore in our barrel column right here. 7 to range, 7 to stability. Gives us that nice nice juicy stats that we're looking for the Crucible. Just rounds us out the best. We're pushing 85 in range and 50 in our stability, so just felt the best with the stats that we have on this thing. For our magazine, I usually go with this for sure. With our accurized rounds, gives us the ability to have that nice juicy range, like I said, pushing 85 with that, allowing us to compete with some of those 120s and 140s at that longer range. But again, with that second burst and the flinch and Crucible, sometimes gets hard to hit those shots at longer range, so you do got to get a little closer than you're thinking. Third column got 3 different options for y'all. First off, we got perpetual motion. Totally depends on your gameplay style, which one of these 3 you pick, but we gain that stability handling reload while we are in motion, so I do really like this because of that extra stability that we are granted. Plus, I'm always bobbing and weaving and moving around in the Crucible, so this is procced all the time. Moving target is our second option, so increased movement speed and target acquisition while moving while ADSing, so not as good as perpetual motion in my personal opinion, but a good overall PvP perk, so definitely would go perpetual over this moving target, and then even I would choose our next one over moving target. It would be my third option for sure. Now, this is the perk that I would put in that second position. To the pain, well, this weapon is equipped. Taking damage increases handling and aim assist until it is stowed. Taking more damage increases the effect, so we can swap on and off this weapon a little bit faster. Plus, we get that aim assist, which does help with that second bullet magnetism, if you will. Helps with that bounce going on, so I do really like to pain, but perpetual motion procs more in my personal opinion and my gameplay style, so that's why I like perpetual, then to pain, then moving target. Now, same kind of concept in this fourth column, and nothing too crazy, but I really think that this would be my god roll right here with Zen Moment. Causing damage gives us reduced recoil and flinch over time. That's definitely the 2 biggest issues in my personal opinion inside of the Crucible because of that 2-round burst. The second one does not hit the head. Sometimes it'll be like a body shot, then a headshot, or you'll hit him in the head, and then the second one will go above. So having that little bit of a reduced recoil and flinch is definitely the way to go. So perpetual with Zen Moment would be a god roll in my opinion for this weapon. Now, these next 2 are kind of interchangeable. Frenzy and Kill Clip. Kill Clip, after reloading, you gain that nice juicy 25% bonus for 5 seconds. It does become a little hard to proc because, like I said, with that bounce on this weapon, you can miss your kill shots a lot and then just get assists with it, but a good perk if you do get it to proc. Like I said, you're absolutely going to be melting Guardians. Kind of in that same vein, like I was saying, Frenzy being in combat for an extended duration gives us damage, healing, and reload for the weapon until we are out of combat, so a good little thing for the Crucible. That's why I like this better than Kill Clip, because you just have to be in combat instead of having to get those defeats, so not as much damage output, but you don't really need it because this thing, if you're hitting your shots anyways, is going to absolutely murk people. So personally, I really do enjoy the 120s, 140s way more than this. I think it is very hard to control, especially with the flinch in Crucible at the moment, but if you are hitting your shots with both of those rounds, you are absolutely destroying those Guardians. So I would give it a 3.0 out of 5 probably. Nothing crazy, but if you can hit your shots, maybe buff it up to like a 3.8, 4.0 maybe, but overall, nothing too crazy. Definitely like it in the PvE realm way more. Definitely goated there. Not as good in PvP for sure. So let me know what you guys think about these 2-round bursts, especially now that we got a couple of them in the game with this one and our stasis bad boy from the Pale Heart. So again, appreciate all that support y'all give me. Appreciate everything that you give to the channel. Don't be afraid to like and subscribe as well. Helps me out, helps the channel. Plus hit that bell button so you don't miss out on any of this content here. Y'all will get that notifications for the god rolls that we put out and our builds. So again, truly appreciate you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.